7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes for this Friday night, as we like to do, the look ahead as the game is 3 o'clock kick off again on a Saturday. It's what we love. Anyhow, loves a 3 o'clock game on a Saturday, doesn't he? Before I get our amazing guests in, I've got Simon, who's a Luton fan. We've got Philip from Toon Tactics TV. Don't forget to subscribe to both of them when you get a chance. Great lads, ready to rattle basically each other, hopefully. If you want to become a member, there's the link. We did an amazing prize draw yesterday. Congratulations to all the winners. We had winners of Diacro t-shirt to $40 to spend in their store online. An amazing prize. 2 people won an Alan Shearer signed photograph, and someone won the badge as well. So congratulations to the winners, but please contact me ASAP so I can get them sent to you. And don't forget, it's 20% off, an amazing offer that they do. And the T-shirts are only going to get better after talking to Joseph yesterday. There's going to be more stuff coming out. So please support a lovely run family business who do Newcastle T-shirts and other stuff. Evening, everyone, says Gary. Evening from Leslie. Please like and subscribe, share to your socials, help the channel grow, all that sort of stuff. Super chats are available in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can join from 99p. It's completely up to yourselves, but we do a prize draw every month, so it's worth it. I am watching the game. It's 0-0 after 30 minutes, and Villa have been all over them. Baz, thumbs up. Evening, everyone from Lee. Best wishes from Colin, and good evening. And then Mogul's in the house. I've messaged you, mate. You in disguise again, Lee? No, yes, she is. Colin, thank you so much for that £10 super chat. That's absolutely generous of you. It's amazing. Thank you so much. But let's bring the guests in.
How you doing, Baz? How you doing, chat? Hope everybody's well. How you guys doing?
Awesome, mate. Absolutely awesome.
Did you have a trim? Did you have a haircut? Looking amazing.
I've had a haircut, yeah. I decided to get it done just before Christmas.
Lovely.
I'll let it grow out again like I always do, and then I'll rush to the barbers last minute to get it done again. How are you, my friend?
Living life to the full. Can't stop, won't stop.
Love it. Let's bring Simon in. How's Simon?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Very well, mate. Simon can't be on camera because if he gets spotted by his Sunderland fans, he's going to get lynched, apparently, after the...
They're very upset with me after the playoffs, and some choice words were said on Twitter, so probably best to leave it like that.
We love stuff like that here because, well, at the end of the day, we hate them, don't we? So let's just see if I can add that. That's better. Now it looks like you're in the show. We've got the aviator on there. Right, Simon, I'm going to apologise straight away because most of the stuff we start with is sort of about Newcastle, but I will bring you into it, I promise you. We'll want to hear your thoughts as well about ourselves, and we want to get to know more about Luton as well. Obviously, it's the first time you've been in the Premier League, so we're interested in hearing all about it and how excited you are and how well you're doing, to be fair, because no one expected you to be third from bottom. So we'll come to you soon. I've just got a few little things to go through. Obviously, Lewis Hall was a big surprise. He didn't get off the bench against Chelsea. We've all been sort of scratching our heads to why. I haven't got an answer other than potentially the stuff everyone's been saying online is he's either not being playing because he might hit obligations, which will then force us to pay more money earlier. The other stuff is he's just not good enough at the moment. But he started against Man United and he started in other games as well, which is a bit strange for me. Eddie's basically said we need to develop certain elements of his game and working with him daily. The requirements haven't been hit, but my message would be patient. So I think we will hit the requirements, but I don't know when. Philip, I'm going to bring you in straight away on this one. I would have put him on instead of Richie. and played him on left wing.
100%. I mean, up to that substitution, if you ask me what's going on with Hall, I would have said to you, look, we all know that Howe takes his time with new signings. Bruno Gomes took about 10 games or 12 games before he was fully in. People were saying, when are we going to get him on? Because we had little snippets of him. But that's how he takes. Sven Botman only got to come in after 5-6 games because we had a suspension or injury. Anthony Gordon took more than half a year. So that's Howe's way. So I was very, very patient until that substitution where I thought, okay, now we've got 10, 15 minutes left, and I love Matt Ritchie. He was there for us. All these other things, but Hall was fitter, younger, stronger, quicker, faster. Why not put Hall on? And now I'm like, okay, is it just Arkham's razor? The simple answer is the easiest, which is he's just not been good enough. And essentially, what I was saying, Ritchie's been better than Hall at this stage. I'm sure some people might find it hard to believe, but that might be it. It's a head scratcher, to be honest.
Personally, I would have done both of them on. I would have took Miggy and Gordon had to come off, didn't he? But I would have threw them both on for fresh legs in the last 15 minutes to do that defending, because Miggy was on his backside. So I'm surprised at it. Simon, did you watch our quarterfinal defeat?
Unfortunately, I didn't. It's been a bit of a mad week for Luton Town Football Club because of Tom Lockyer and the situation all ongoing and waiting for news. So it's all been a bit heavy on that front. So been more focused on that than other games this week. But maybe a good thing because, you guys are a team who should be beating us. Let's be real. Our record signing is £5 million. Ryan Giles, £5 million, who's not even in the team at the moment. I was a bit surprised you went out. Trippier, I saw some clips of Trippier. He's getting pelters from all corners of the internet at the minute. I think it's a bit harsh. Players dipping out of form. It's how it goes.
I absolutely agree. Absolutely
100%.
agree. We're going to come on to obviously, top signings and all that sort of stuff very soon, I promise. This news on Calvin Phillips is something I was expecting because I did say it about a week ago. He won't be. I don't think he's coming to us on loan because Man City, want an obligation to buy in it. We just want a 6-month loan because when Tonali comes back, our midfield is rich with talent in my eyes. So Sky Sports are now saying it as well. There's other offers on the table for him, but Man City want an obligation to buy. So it's going to be a tricky one, that one. And some other news as well that Sandro Tonali will miss the first couple of games of next season due to his 10-month ban. Now, Simon, this has been everywhere. What are your thoughts on Tonali being banned for gambling?
Look, I think there is way too much gambling involved in football, full stop. At Luton Town, we have point blank refused gambling money for a number of years now. Our board actually pride themselves on that you will not find any gambling companies associated with our club. Now, what I would like to know is, were AC Milan aware of these pending charges when they sold you Tonali to begin with?
Yeah, this is what we would like to know as well. I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, me and Philip have talked about this a few times, and we always say if someone's got an addiction, they do their best to hide it and nobody knows about it. And I find it difficult that if they did know about it, that it wouldn't have come to light, because obviously a player's come forward and dropped everyone in it to save his own backside and get a shorter suspension. So, it's a difficult one. It's
really difficult because you want to see people get the support they need when they are suffering with things like gambling, and football players are just absolutely surrounded by this stuff. They've got offers from these companies coming in left, right, and centre. So it's a bit harsh, the extent of the punishment, considering how entwined gambling is with football these days.
Yeah, I agree with that. All the sponsorships on shirts around the ground, even when you go to St James's Park at half-time or before the game, you can put a bet on. It's rife in football betting. Next one is Sven Botman's return. He's good. We will assess him today. I'm very pleased with his return. He has looked strong and comfortable. It would take him time to get his rhythm going and be back to his absolute best, but I'm very pleased with his performance. Philip, I thought he was superb for that first 45 minutes against Chelsea. I was gutted when he didn't walk back out on the pitch again, and I think that ultimately cost us the composure, the being able to keep the ball for a bit longer than what we did. Botman's back. It's just, can he play 90 minutes on Saturday, or are we looking at a 60, 70 minutes sort of situation?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Even I had to take a look back at our centre-back pairing of Lascelles and Botman, and it just looks solid. Just looks solid. Yes, our backs were against the wall, but it didn't like Chelsea were ever going to get, especially they weren't going to get through the middle of our team. That's for sure.
No, definitely not.
And I think he was scheduled for 45 minutes, so thankfully it's not nothing to do with like an injury or anything like that. He was just watching his load, and you know what? I expect a solid back line. We haven't had a consistent back line for a while now, and
no,
it'll be good.
Well, we sort of have. I mean,
the
Lascelles and Shaw played a good 9-10 games together before Botman's now due back. So, I mean, I would say it was pretty settled, but not the settled back line we want to see. So we want to see Botman, Shaw, Trippier, and potentially Bernardino now, don't we? That's the settled back line we want to see. And Pope and goal, obviously. Yeah,
exactly. So, it'd be good to have them back.
Yeah, I can't wait for Shaw and Botman to rekindle their love together. The centre-back pairing, I really can't. Simon, what have you made of our star centre-back, Botman, Robocop, as we like to call him?
Listen, the thing with Newcastle United's defence is you have great days or you don't turn up, right? I think Botman is a good player. I think that you have got a lot more to come this season. People forget. People are laughing at Newcastle at the minute in ways. And I'm like, look, have you seen their injury list? Like your injury list and your ban list, it is insane. But you're only going to get better. I saw one of your fans on Twitter earlier. They were saying that you don't think they're going to get Europe, and I was like, it's still a bit early.
Oh.
Still a bit early to call that.
Someone said to me today, if we get beat off you at the weekend, we're not going to get in any European competition. I was just like, nah, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. There's a long way to go. Yeah, we're only halfway through the season.
Indeed, business starts in January.
Yeah, we're getting to the business end then. It's mental. But Shaw was only bought for 3 or 3.5 million. Someone will have to jog my memory on that one. I mean, he's become a beast since Howe came in. What do you make of him and his ability on the ball and also reading of the game? Simon, that is.
Yeah. Honestly, you couldn't really ask for more. You're blessed at Newcastle to have players with the vision to move the ball and progress it from defence into midfield effectively. And in the Premier League, as we have found out, that is crucial. You need someone to be able to do that, and you have got that.
Yeah, I think we're very blessed, and I think Philip obviously agrees with that as well. We spoke about him quite a lot, haven't we? Shaw, £3 million, looked like he looked like nothing under Steve Bruce, didn't he? And then suddenly Howe comes in, installs that confidence in him. And now we're seeing the player that we had under Rafa, but better. I think he's been better under Howe than he was under Rafa. He's aged like a fine wine, Philip.
100%, because we've become more of a front playing football team. Obviously, Rafa, we were solid and structured, but we're mainly, I won't say as far as low block, but we're certainly a counter-attacking team. Whereas now, obviously, you're right. When we have the triangle of death of Fabian, Shaw, Botman, and Bruno Guimaraes as a defense or as a team, the opposition's team, they don't know whether to press because the ball could either go through them or over the top or to the sides or to stand back. But if you stand back, we'll build up the play. As Simon said, our defense can bring the ball out to the midfield, and that ability is invaluable in the Premier League, especially nowadays. And so, hoping to have them back as soon as possible.
Yeah. Even Lascelles has been trying to spray the ball around.
Do you know what? I've been watching him. I'm like, I need to clip some of this stuff because people keep on saying it's not, including myself. I'm like, no, this ain't bad. Like this is,
Yeah, he's done all right recently. I was quite shocked.
He's not Pirlo, but he's good.
Or Beckenbauer.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Let's get on to the news of Tom Lockyer. So this is what Eddie Howe said about him. Without a doubt, watching the game back as we did, that was a really difficult moment. It really puts football into perspective. Tom's health is paramount. We want to send our best wishes to Tom and his family from everyone here. And then, obviously, Luton have come out and said, we are thankful to report that our captain, Tom Lockyer, has now begun a period of rehabilitation from the comfort of his own home after he was discharged from hospital on Wednesday. I mean, it was horrible, horrible news feeding through that happened, Simon, and we're just pleased. I think everyone in football is pleased that he's making a recovery. He's out of hospital. He's out of the danger area. And we just want to see, hopefully he can play football again. I think this is the second time it's happened to him. So I don't know what it's going to be, or you can let us know a little bit more if you don't mind.
So in the Championship playoff final against Coventry, one of the best days of my entire life, I'll add, Tom Lockyer went down off the ball. It was really scary. I was there in the stadium. It was one of the most surreal things I've witnessed in football at the time. And it turned out he had an atrial fibrillation, which is an irregularly fast heartbeat, which led to the collapse. This wasn't that, sadly. Sadly, he did have a full cardiac arrest on the pitch in the last game. He's now been implanted with the same device that Christian Eriksen has got. The main thing for me is right now is that he's at home with his family. He's going to get to enjoy Christmas surrounded by his loved ones. And football obviously comes second to that. We all obviously would love Tom to get back to playing football if it's safe for him to do so, because he is our captain. He's absolutely stalwart. I cannot put enough praise on Tom Lockyer as a footballer, but also as a person. The community work he has done around this club, visiting hospitals. He doesn't have any social media. He's very down to earth. And he is just a great person. So I'm just so pleased that he's on the mend.
Yeah, I love that he doesn't have any social media, and he still goes out and does all that without putting pictures on and, you know, trying to get accolades for it, which some footballers do, don't they? It's nice to hear. And if he's got that same thing fitted that Eriksen has, you might see him back on a football pitch again then, because now they've got to the root cause of it. Hopefully they've put everything right, and hopefully he comes back fit. And I mean, he's been your best player this season, hasn't he?
He is a rock. He was a rock in the Championship last season. I cannot even begin to state how much of an influence he is on the back line. He's got Osho, who's still young, one side of him. You know, you've got the experienced Amari Bell on the other in those three centre-back roles. But he pulls those wing-backs into position every time. You know, he is a very good organiser. We will miss him a lot when we play you.
Yeah. He sounds like a Trippier to me then. He sounds like a leader, someone who can read the game very well, and he's obviously the person who keeps it all together and makes sure that everyone's pulling their weight.
Tom Lockyer is the definition of a footballer who was more than he was ever supposed to be. I said it on Twitter the other day. He was in League One when he joined us. You know, we rose up just like we have done. Everyone's familiar with the story of Luton Town at this point, I should imagine. But we have these group of players there. We did something that Burnley and Sheffield United didn't do. We kept our core group of players. We kept Tom Lockyer. We kept Pelly Ruddock-Panzu. Arguably, there is some debate about should we have kept a couple of others, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is, you know. But we kept that core of the team, and it is showing through now. Luton Town, historically, are a second half of the season team. This time last year, we were 13th in the Championship before pushing on to finish third.
That's very interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting. It sounds like the sort of thing that Newcastle have got going, Philip, doesn't it? It's that, you know, team unity. It's why Eddie Howe doesn't want to buy so many players in one go and ruin the, you know, the spirit that's in that dressing room, the way that we've connected as a team. And you've got, like I said, we've got riches now. We can start dreaming about all these big players, but we've got to be careful what we wish for, because we don't want to ruin what this group of players have made for us.
Well, you hit the nail on the head there, Baz. And whenever I'm having these football debates with content creators, football pundits, and everyone, and I'm keep on telling them, for instance, because, you know, someone made a point of, you know, Newcastle being one of the most misunderstood teams. Like people are looking for flashy individuals with incredible ability. we are a very good team. We're a very good unit. And part of the reason why we're a very good unit, a very good team, is that we're just like Simon was talking about Tom Lockyer, is that we also have players in a core group of players who are embedded into the team, embedded to the city of Newcastle, and who glue the team together. And those sometimes intangibles are what make a good team. It's what made Man United a great institution. People forget that Man United left itself, it's forgotten itself when the millions and the billions and everything came and it started going elsewhere. It lost itself. And I keep on telling my counterparts at Man United, I said, look, you guys became great because you had these core group of players from Man United who loved Manchester and everything else about it. And you lost it along the way, and it's so easy to do that. And so exactly what Simon was saying, we've got that in our team, and exactly what you said, Baz, there's a real hesitancy within our higher ups to be buying waves of players, even though we're fully capable of doing that. But to be buying waves of players and just throwing everybody else out. We need those players. We need the core of the team. They are our Tom Lockyer's, our James Milners. They are our and all those other guys there. So exactly it. That's what makes us strong. That's what makes us a great team.
I agree. Simon says this: is it correct that Luton fans want NUFC fans to join in a minute's applause on the 4th minute?
Please feel free to join in, guys. It is happening. We are going to be doing something in the 4th minute for Tom. There's been a big banner made. It'd be great if you could join in.
Yeah, we'll get it all tweeted out then and make sure the away fans are aware of it, because that's important. That it's more than football. This PB. Obviously, we're actually live on X for the first time in a very long time. I've decided to fuck the trolls off and just do it on Twitter as well. So we've got 2 people watching from Twitter. We've got 2 Normie Netherlands. Nice to see you in here. Fantastic to see Luton in Division 1. Hopefully they can stay there. Yeah. So I mean, for Division 1, he means the Premier League, not actual Division 1. Don't want to get that mixed over. Yeah, exactly. And thanks, Simon, says Leslie. Don't forget to subscribe, everyone, and subscribe to these 2 channels as well. You've got a channel as well, haven't you, Simon?
I'm just primarily Twitter. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. I'm always on there. I'm friendly to anyone. It doesn't really matter the club unless it's Watford. Sunderland. And if that's the case, don't bother.
Unless it's Sunderland as well, by the sounds of it.
No, don't worry. I think most of them have already blocked me, lads.
Yeah. You're doing a good job then. I love it. You can guarantee the Toon fans will join in. Yeah, of course we will join in any tribute. Just want to make sure they're aware of it. I'm sure most of them will be. I've got a bit of a story to get confirmed with you, Simon, and see if you remember this and if it's something and what happened basically. So story behind the video. So I got sent a video with Luton Town's mascot, Happy Harry.
Oh yeah.
He basically ruined a Queen's Park Rangers fan with a series of brutal gestures in the away end.
Is that when he called him fat?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was filmed mocking him. His weight, his size, belly gestures, imitating drinks, pints in as the back and forth continued with the opposition fans. He was also seen shushing fans, joined by Happy Hattie, the female mascot, when they started jeering back. But Queen's Park Rangers had the last laugh as you got beat 2-1 that day, which is a bit of a shame.
Unfortunately, but I'd rather be where we are than QPR are right now.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, that's a team that's going forward. And then
bit of a rival of ours.
Yes, of course they are. But what... Were you there that day with the mascot? Or
I wasn't, but listen, Harry is notorious for pulling this kind of thing at most games. Away supporters, goad him at your own peril because he will give it back to you.
I love it. Brilliant. Right, let's get on to the teams who we potentially think. So this is your injury list at the moment. You've only got 4 to worry about. Out of those 4, well, out of the 3, because we know about Lockyer, but the other 3, would they normally be starters? Or
Riesberg is the only one there who would slot into the first team. Potts is one of the players I was referencing earlier about there's a debate whether we should have let him go before the season. He's a bit of a nostalgia thing, but he's stayed around. But Potts' problem is he's very injury prone.
Right. Gary's asked, was Jamie Rubin something to do with Queen's Park Rangers? He was, wasn't he, for a little while?
I think he's on their board or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. That's why we thought maybe Sir Les was going to come home. But that never happened either. Yeah, he was on the board. There we go. I had a feeling he was. This is the team you sent me to go through. Obviously, there's a couple of players missing. Andros Townsend obviously played for both clubs.
This is the wrong image.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the other one I sent you. Yeah, because
damn it.
Yeah. Kaminsky. The only error really is Kaminsky, so don't worry. It's because it didn't change the name. Kaminsky's in goal.
Yeah. It should have. I didn't change the goalkeeper. I think that's the only one I've missed, isn't it?
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, Kaminsky's the keeper.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've
missed.
It's
always the keeper.
I always miss the keeper.
I do the same thing. Always.
Yeah.
I had Pope on like 4 weeks into his injury.
We always do it. We look at it and like the keeper just always gets forgotten about, to be fair, because it's the other 11 that we're really interested, the other 10 that we're really interested in. Andros Townsend is obviously signed for you, obviously an ex-Newcastle player. Yeah. Is he anywhere near fit enough to be in the reckoning for a starting place? And
it's very possible. This was the area. This was the area I was most, was a toss-up for me, Chong and Andros Townsend. Andros Townsend has been playing very well. I think there was something crazy, like he's won the ball back in the opposition's final third more than anyone else this season, which is a phenomenal stat. But he's only been able to get going for about 60 minutes or so far. But I think we're going to need Chong more in this game because he carries the ball a bit better.
Right. That's fair. Barkley as well. He was a bit of a surprise signing from a lot of people. Not that he went to Luton, just that Barkley seemed to have disappeared off the face of the earth of football. But he's made a very good impact since he's moved here.
Ross Barkley, when he first came, I was at the West Ham game, first game of the season, right, at home, back after all the delays. He got a load of pelters from the crowd and Twitter because after we lost that game, he walked off without applauding, which sort of annoys Luton fans in a way because we're very much a down-to-earth club. I'm sure you have all seen the applause when we walk around the pitch. But since then, he has just bought into the project. He has got into everything Luton Town. I saw him at a random high school on Twitter the other day with Rob Edwards, and he's just bought into the project so much. And he's been allowed to be that main man. He is that man for us who will get the ball, he will hold it and relieve pressure while still moving us up the field. Some of the balls Ross Barkley has played this season have just been out of this world. And I'm not even kidding you. If the competition in the England central midfield is Henderson, Phillips or Ross Barkley on form and based on what he's done this season, how does he not have a shout for that?
Because Southgate will never choose anyone that's on form. But that's the problem.
It's insane. It baffles me. Same with Alfie Doughty.
But he used to pick Townsend a lot, didn't he, when he wasn't on form with Spurs?
He did.
It's bonkers.
The key to getting to the England squad is just don't be on form and don't play in the country. That would be good.
Yeah, don't play outside the top 10.
Yeah, you have to be his best mate as well, don't you? Really? That's how it all works.
I don't know what Jordan Henderson has on that man, but it must be something serious.
Got to be on it.
Well, if you can imagine, Maddison had to come through just through public demand almost, over Henderson. So it is what it is.
It is.
Our main danger tomorrow for you guys has got to be Ogbene, right? Ogbene is the fastest player in the Premier League. This man will have your defenders looking back faster than they can blink, right? Alfie Doughty and Ogbene have been causing trouble all season, right? All season long. And it's gone relatively unnoticed because we are in that relegation scrap. But out of those teams that are promoted, we look the unit. We look most likely to start kicking on and grinding out some 1-0s here and there. And, Nottingham Forest, if they don't get that new manager bounce, they're going to be right in trouble with us. So when you look at what Alfie Doughty and Ogbene are doing, you will notice that a lot of our play will come down that side. because he's just so rapid. And, Doughty got 2 assists against Arsenal. He is capable of getting that ball with Ogbeni and overlapping each other and causing a lot of problems.
So that'll be Miggy and Tripp's potentially's job to try and nullify that, unless he moves Tino over. It'll be interesting. Simon, as well, I hear Luton are talking about moving Kenilworth Road, such an iconic stadium. But I suppose if you want to compete in this level, and even in the Championship, really, your stadium needs a bit of a. I mean, they've done a bit of a revamp to it, but is a permanent move something you'd be interested in?
Here's the situation. I can give you the complete lowdown on what that situation is. We're going to be in Kenilworth Road for 5 more years. We're going to be in Kenilworth Road for 5 years while Power Court is being built. It's going to be about an 18,000-seater with the potential to expand right in the heart of Luton Town Centre. It was very important for Luton Stadium to the club to still remain in the town. It was important. It's taken a long time. Kenilworth Road's 120 years old. A community has grown around that stadium, and it's fashionable to take pictures and laugh. But, at the end of the day, that stadium was there before the community was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
It is our 12th man. The stadium's our 12th man. You don't realise how loud 11,000 people can be until they're right on top of you because we're right by the players. Like, I don't know if you remember Amid Diallo's incident last season when he was taking a throw-in during the playoffs and a fan got a little handsy on and banned from the stadium. That's how close you are to these fans. We are loud. Like, St. James's Park is an incredible stadium, right? I love your guys' stadium. It's iconic. But we're iconic in our own little way. We are moving to our new stadium. That's why we've had such little transfer fees to spend this year, because we diverted most of it to the stadium. So when it is built, we'll be debt-free. That's important. And we're a sustainable fan-owned club, and it means a lot to us to operate in credit responsibly.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And it's obviously, you've seen what's happened to Everton, with their new stadium. It's put them in big trouble with the spending they've been doing on top of it. So you're doing it the right way. And yeah, kudos, definitely. Amazing stuff. I've watched Barkley. You can see he's another level. It's good to see him back, to be fair. Townsend left us when relegated. Screw him. You can't blame him, because he wanted to play for England and he wanted to be in the Premier League. So I don't begrudge players leaving a relegated team.
Did he get into England that year?
I think so. I think he did. Okay. Being an Evertonian, Barkley is the one to watch. He is one of the very few midfielders capable of running with the ball at pace.
Yeah.
Don't know if he's got that pace anymore, though, has he? Or has he? Simon, has he still got his pace?
Oh, boy, yeah. He's been rapid this season. His transition's been incredible. And I just saw that comment there about how Kenilworth Road's not the prettiest stadium. No, we're not. Unfortunately, we're a little bit old. Things are falling down a bit. Might not be as bad as Old Trafford, though. You never know.
I'm sure you got better. I'm sure you got better food hygiene ratings as well.
Yeah. Oh, listen, Norm's curry at Kenilworth Road. Get it. You ever there? Norm's. Go to him. It's the most authentic, best food at the stadium.
I love it. Which door does he live in going into the away end? I love it. I love the ground. I think it's brilliant. It's an amazing story. Historically, just to let you know, you've won 17, drawn 11, lost 23 against Newcastle in all competitions. First time played each other in the league in Division 2 on the 19th of Feb 1898, which you won 3-1. However, Newcastle won the return fixture on the 12th of March 1898. We beat us 4-1. Most recent encounters were in the FA Cup, where Luton won 2-0 in 1994 and we beat us 3-1 in 2018. So not many draws in there, is there? It's either a win or a loss for either side. So that's quite interesting. Right, so that was the Luton team. Let's have a little look at what Newcastle could do. So Isaac 50-50, Shaw and Joe Linton scan showed neither too serious. Joe Linton slightly worse. Decision to be made today on both of them. We obviously don't know what the decision is. Gordon and Kraft's tackles against Chelsea should have been reds. They were disgusting. Horrible challenge on the ankle, late to check midday today, so hopefully he'll be okay. But Kraft's got a very deep cut on his shin, so he is doubtful because of that. You've got to be careful with stuff like that. And as Simon alluded to, there's our injury list. Hard to see it because it's not stretched it that much. Nick Polk, Gibbet Murphy, Harvey Barnes, Elliot Anderson, Fabian Shaw, Mancua, Jolinton, Target, Gordon, doubtful, Trippier, doubtful, Isaac, doubtful, and Kraft, doubtful. Trippier, doubtful. Is that doubtful because of his mental state? We don't really know. But Philip, this is what I think we could do if Trippier is dropped. Obviously, the other one is knowing that Luton are quite a physical team. It's going to be they've got a lot of height. Dan Burn could also come back in because of his height, couldn't he?
You know, I'll take it back a little bit, Baz. I was laughing because I was watching Eddie Howe's press conference today, and there was two questions that made me laugh when they asked it. One was, one journalist was like, do you think your squad is deep enough? And he's like, have you seen, I don't know how you can prepare for 14 injuries, but the fact that we're still in it, shows
exactly.
It's the biggest test you can get to a squad. 14 injuries, that's the best you can get to see how good your squad is. And exactly. In my view, we're passing that. So that was a funny question. And then they asked him about, the second question was around, is there going to be any going out? Are you planning to sell anybody in the chat? He's like, are you serious? No. I need all my players. Sorry. That's what it just reminded me of when you put that list out. But yeah, in terms of the lineup, exactly. Yeah, in terms of the lineup, exactly what you said. When I did my preview, everything was so 50-50. I listened to the press conference. I read all the journalists and trying to hear who's who. I hope this is the lineup. I had the only difference I had in mind was I had Richie instead of Gordon, just because I thought Gordon might be.
There's that conversation again. If Gordon is injured, surely Lewis
should be
the better player to come in.
Yeah, exactly. I've got no arguments with you there. Absolutely, but I just don't know what's going on with that. So I just said, you know what? I took a very conservative guess and just said, you know what? All right, cool. Richie. It's going to be Richie. And Richie can play, I was thinking about exactly what Simon was talking about, the ground, the intensity. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. But, we talked about with Chelsea coming to St. James's Park, they couldn't take it. And, Luton, playing at Kenilworth is going to separate the boys from the men, as always, And so we know that Richie can handle that, because he's just that kind of character. So I wouldn't be surprised. He's
Mad Dog's brother, isn't he?
Exactly. Well, speaking of Mad Dog, he'll definitely embrace it. So yeah, I just said, okay, Richie. I'll be so happy to see Gordon or Hall, but I just put Richie in my lineup. Yeah,
it's looking at that lineup, Simon. Where do you think you would struggle? Would it be Gordon's pace, maybe? Bruno's intensity with the way that he, likes to run the game. Wilson's finishing. Who are you more scared of in that team, if that's what the team is?
So with Luton Town, as we discovered early on in the season, when we like to play two men up top. All last season we played Adebayo and Morris up top. And all that got us in the first two games of the season was a 4-1 loss to Brighton and a 3-0 loss to Chelsea. Unfortunately, we were just being so overrun in the middle of the park. That's where we had to adjust, take a man off top, put an extra man in the middle. And it's worked well. We're a very low block team. But your joy isn't going to come from the wings. We took Man City, Arsenal, and down the wings. That's not where their joy really came from. It's the centre of the park. Bruno is going to be the man who's going to need to put in the biggest shift tomorrow to make sure you bypass our low block, but also don't get caught going the other way. He's going to be a very vital part of your team tomorrow.
Well, he always is, isn't he, Philip?
No, 100%. I think because I'm assuming in terms of obviously Luton are very counter-attacking team. Is that right, Simon? But you're probably more of a counter-attacking team.
We're very happy to sit in our half and press. You'll see our games. You'll see matches where Luton had 28% possession, but it was 1-1. Look, you'll see that all through our history. We get these results. people thought we were going to come into this league and get slapped. They thought we were going to get slapped all over the park, but that's not how we play. We sit back, we let teams knock the ball in front of us to their heart's content. You come at us, we've got so many men behind the ball, it's difficult to get past. We make every team work for the goal, and we will spring that counter and get up the field quicker than you can imagine. And what should be possible, Ogbene's pace enables that to happen.
All right.
Yeah. So,
Very interesting.
like you said, it'll probably be a similar. We'll have to probably put in a similar performance that we did at Fulham, where our midfield and everybody pushes up. Bruno unlocks defenses, Longstaff covers him, or Tino would be also supporting in the background, making sure that whoever breaks for Luton, he can cover them with his pace. There'll be kind of overloads with Miley and Miggy, Longstaff and Gordon. Byrne would have to get himself up there for the set pieces. It'll be all about us trying to get our chances, essentially.
Yeah,
convert them.
It is going to be very interesting. Miley's obviously going to be the big one. 17-year-old going into a small ground like Luton. I know he's been away to PSG and he looks like a man, but he's not played at a little ground like this where it's going to be like a fiery sort of atmosphere that way, closer to the pitch, the fans. It's going to be interesting to see what Miley does. And I think he'll come out on top. I really do. But it'll be interesting to see how he handles it, especially if things don't quite go our way in the first few, say, 15, 20 minutes. And we know what Bruno's like. He's got a bit of a hot head at times, so we've got to be careful with him. Skin faded now. Jesus, what's going on there, Blade? He's lost his bun. Oh, that's going to be an interesting when he comes back on. A few more little. So obviously, I mean, we don't know what the lineup's going to be. It's very hard to call it these days with all the injuries we've got, the 50-50s we've got, the trip situation as well, with his family life or mental health or whatever it is. There's something not quite right there. So we'll just have to. Jesus Christ. So it's going to be very interesting of what the actual lineup is going to look like tomorrow at 2 p.m. when we find out. Hopefully I'll find out beforehand, but I doubt it. I've got some more little stuff. I like having all the. I've got someone who does a bit of research for me, and it's really nice. But players who played for both sides. Diamond, can you name some players who played for both sides over the years? Apart from Townsend, we've obviously covered that one.
You put me on the spot now. I thought this would be a nice, easy-going chat. Been at work all day, leading into Christmas. But no, you got to put me on the spot.
I do.
I'm sure you're going to enlighten me with some.
I don't know any of them, Paul. I know two of them. Philip, can you think of any old players who have played for both teams?
No. If Ollie K was here, he would name them all. Ollie K at the Walt podcast. If you're ever interested in Luton historical facts, he's your man.
There we go. So there's been 7, I think, because she sent me 2 more later on. But we've got Alex Gillid, that I pronounce his name, Viv Busby. Now there's a really famous number 9 who played for both clubs. Malcolm MacDonald.
Oh, fair enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's also another famous name in football, a bit more late 80s, early 90s, Mick Harford. Yeah,
Mickey Harford, Mr. Luton Town as well. We've got a few Mr. Luton Towns. That's why we've come up the league. There
we go. Imri Vardy. Vardy.
No idea. Kazenga Luwalawa's got to be one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he has to be.
I'm trying. They're the first ones I got sent. They were the first 5, and she said there's a couple more, but I've got to find them in these messages now. I can't find them. Oh, Krul. Tim Krul.
Tim Krul's there now.
Yeah.
He's here now. Kazenga Luwalawa scored a really important goal for us to keep us up in the Championship a few seasons ago. So well thought of here.
Wow.
Yeah, I see he's not on my list, to be fair, but there you go. See, you've got one over me there.
Hey.
But there's some big names who have played for both clubs. Obviously, Mick Harford is massive at Luton, and obviously Malcolm MacDonald was a hero of my dad's. Back in the day, he was huge for Newcastle. I don't know how long he played for Luton for, but obviously that's a massive name.
Right? Here's the thing. People, in regards to Luton Town, these fans nowadays who have only ever known the Premier League, they think, Luton Town, little clubs come up from non-league, but really, we used to be a staple of the top division. We beat Arsenal for the League Cup in 1988, right? And our downfall was directly attributed to poor ownership and dodgy dealings behind the scenes that made us drop. And we are owned by fans. Our fan group, the club cannot legally change our badge, anything without the fan group's express permission. We are very much run as a club. Like I view Luton and Newcastle similar in a lot of ways. You guys are obviously massive, but your city is your club. It's like our town is our club, and over the years at Liverpool and places like that, that sort of got lost a little bit along the way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like I say, there's not many clubs or a one city club. I mean, you've got obviously the Scousers, you've got two teams there. Manchester's, there's two. I mean, London's littered with them, but Luton, obviously, as a town, they own their football club, which is absolutely amazing. And it's great to see us back in the top flight. It really is. I mean, I don't remember years that, but I was born in 81. So I don't remember much for football between 1981 and 1988.
Don't worry, mate. I watched most of mine on my granddad's old VHS tapes.
Yes, I love the VHS tapes. Get in.
He was there.
Oh, they went, is that Butcher Brothers play for Luton?
Oh, and you know who else? I don't know if they ever played for the Newcastle setup, but we had Elliot Lee's kids. Rob Lee's kids played for us.
Yes, I was going to bring that up about Rob Lee. Rob Lee did, but his kids never made it with us.
I wasn't sure if they had ever been a part of your youth setup or not.
No, I don't think there were. I don't think we had a youth setup back then, you see, because Keegan got rid of it.
Bloody hell, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got rid of the whole. That's why we lost so much talent to other clubs like Shearer. I mean, it was a different age group, but Michael Carrick, he went down to
I had no idea.
Yeah, he literally scrapped the under 23s and under 21s and stuff like that because they were told they had to play so many games at the home stadium, and Keegan didn't want that because it was cutting up the grass and it was making it difficult for his team to play the football. So obviously now it probably wouldn't make a difference because they'll look after the pitches so well. But back then, during the winter times, it was very difficult to keep the pitch nice. So
I think back at that time, we were playing on our 5G AstroTurf pitch at Kenilworth Road back then.
I think you were there.
Yeah, wow, what a famous pitch in football.
I love it. There's the injury ones. So Kenilworth Road is known as the Kenny and the Old Girl, and has been the home of the ground of Luton since 1905. You mentioned that before, didn't you? I didn't know that it was called the Kenny or the Old Girl, to be fair.
Little nicknames.
Yeah. LTFC are called the Hatters because of the history of the hat making in the town. Is that right?
That's correct, indeed. We have a very long history with hat making, and it bred in with the club's identity.
I love it. During the 1800s, they had over 500 manufacturers based there. At one stage in the 1930s, the town was producing 70 million hats per year.
Indeed.
Jesus.
Wow.
And this is obviously one of the reasons why, we've talked about Tom Lockyer quite a lot. He was rated their best player in 2022-23 season with a score of 8.1 after 42 appearances. 4 goals, being named man of the match 9 times. Now, an 8.1 rating is absolutely phenomenal, whatever league you're in.
Listen, he's immense. He puts his body on the line. Every week you'll see Tom Lockyer with a different black eye, like it'll rotate on sides. He throws his head in, he's such a brave player. And the championship, as you guys, you were there in the not too distant past, it is a hard league. It's a hard league to get out of. It's relentless, and so that's what Luton are built upon. We are built upon that dogfight. We will hang in there. We will fight. We will pressure. We will get in your face. And we do that very well. We did it against Spurs recently, actually, when I think it was, who was it that got sent off for them? I can't remember. But Tom Lockyer, of course, drew him into the challenge and off he went. But he's just a master of it, honestly. We are a poorer team without Tom Lockyer. And Gabo Show, his understudy partner, now he's going to have to step up. And, he's looked great the games he's come back and played. But obviously, a man the measure of Tom Lockyer is going to be missed in a team that's set up like us.
Yeah, I agree. Villa scored, brought the deadlock 1-0.
That's good for us.
Tapping from Bailey. There's a VAR look at it for some reason. I don't know why. I'm trying to look to see what VAR are getting involved with it for. They think it's a potential foul on the goalkeeper, but he's holding on to his arm, is he? Oh, that's a tough one because the camera angle's shocking. I don't think he's getting away without the keeper. I think he's still holding on to the Villa player himself, and he's just jumped stupidly to punch the ball, and he hasn't. There's not enough in it for me. Keepers are protected far too much these days. And the glue made people mad. What glue? I don't know. I'm lost on that one. Yep, unfortunately, Les. The Kangol factory was still operating while I lived in Luton. Oh, there you go. It's awful, but I can't see Tom ever playing again. Not now, not after the second incident. Well, as I don't know if you saw the start of the show, but Simon obviously mentioned it was 2 different complete incidents. He's now been fitted with the same device that Ericsson has, so there's a very good chance he could actually make a full recovery and come back to play football again if he gets the all clear. So hopefully it's not as bad as what everyone first feared. Fingers crossed. I don't know if the goal's been disallowed yet. They're still doing their usual VAR checks. The latest look, all the keepers. So they've sent the referee to the screen, so we all know what's going to happen, don't we? So that's the Premier League form, by the way. It's not cup competition, so it's we've won 3, lost 2. Luton have lost 4, won 1. Obviously, we know Simon coming into the Premier League was going to be, a very, very tough ask. But everyone, and I'm not being disrespectful, but everyone had his finishing nail on bottom. Everyone thought Burnley were going to be the team that surprised everyone, but it's yourselves surprising people in a way. You're third from bottom. You've got 9 points, 5 points behind Forest. There is a bit of a gap opening, but you're doing yourself proud as a football club in this division where everyone thought that you're going to end up with the worst points, worst goals conceded, and you're throwing it all back in everyone's face, and it's brilliant.
What's really funny about those comments in particular, I'll tell you, we heard them in League 2, then we heard them in League 1, then we heard them in the Championship. And, it's getting a bit like Groundhog Day with comments like this. Look, we're not the flashiest club. We haven't got the £100 million players. But what we do have is grassroots. We have a grounded setup. We know what we want to go out and achieve, and we try our very best to do that as a unit. I'm very surprised Burnley have gone the way they have. But again, like I said, it's because I think they just let that core go. They let that core go. They've got a few very gifted players with the ball who are a bit lightweight, who are easily pushed off the ball. Whereas we have players like Marvelous Nakamba, who's going to snap at your heels for 95 minutes. You just need some of that. And honestly, as I said earlier, we're very, very much a team who don't get going until the second half of the season. And, it's going to be a pleasure seeing thousands of people lose their money after having bet on Luton to get the points total in the Premier League.
It is, isn't it? I mean, I'm not that kind of person who would bet on that sort of thing because you just never know. Should never bet on the unknown. In my eyes, that's a dangerous bet. Looking at the league table, if you are going to survive, who do you think you're going to suck into it?
Nottingham Forest are at risk. They're at risk. They seem to be a bit 6s and 7s. I don't know if Nuno is the man to come in and settle that. He's had a couple of rough positions the last few years. Things didn't really work out at Spurs for him. For me, Nuno plays a pretty defensive style, whereas Nottingham Forest have attacking-minded players. They, for all their faults, Nottingham Forest are getting shots away. Their problem is not in that area of the pitch. At the end of the day, it's going to be a tough one to call. You could easily see Palace maybe getting dragged into this at some point if points start accruing. One thing is for sure, we're not going to get that points total. I think we've got a real shot of staying in this league. And you just got to believe, enjoy the ride.
Yes, it's what I keep telling my fans. Enjoy the ride. It might be a while before we're actually winning trophies and competing right at the very top for titles and that, but just enjoy the ride to get there. Stop overthinking things sometimes. And like I said, there's Forest there. Palace have just, do they need to sack their manager like Forest have just done, Philip, for them to get out of it? Because I think Bournemouth will be fine, even though Luton were beating Bournemouth until that horrible incident happened. I think Wolves will be fine. They've shown enough. But if Bournemouth lose Solanke, you could probably think they would then start to drop down and could get sucked into it as well. So I think Everton will be safe, to be honest with you. I've been saying that for ages. Even if they get the 10 points deduction, I think they'll get out of it.
Yeah.
But I think Forest, Palace and Bournemouth are the ones that Luton and Burnley and Sheffield United need to be aiming for.
100%. Really agree. Nuno is a 50-50 appointment. If I don't know if for Koppel to get sacked to replace Nuno, I don't know what he done in his interview to get that job. I think Everton will stay up too. Palace tried to be an expansive team. They tried to be a different team under Vieira, but they just weren't. The results weren't going their way, and they're risking relegation. They went back to what they know, and that's Roy Hodgson. But you got to move on from that kind of football, and you got to take that risk. You got to.
They tried. Crystal Palace played Luton. Yeah. Sorry to jump in on you.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
They tried to play what you're describing against us, and they lost. Yeah. Okay. And if you're trying to play that type of game against another team who does, and you're not coming out on top of it, when you have players like Olise, there's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just not going their way at the moment, and they're kind of stuck. They're stuck in who they are. Are they forever going to be fighting relegate? Because they've been for the last 5 years fighting that way, and it's more to do with their style of football. Hodgson retired. You had to bring him out of retirement. Like, is there no manager in the world that you could have that is at least
thought they had him, didn't they? In Patrick Vieira,
that's at least 30 years younger, and that you could have got. Yeah, well, they had Patrick Vieira. Yeah, exactly. But you have to support that change. But Luton have every chance of staying up. Every chance of staying.
By the way, it's still 0-0 because the goal was ruled out. Simon, can you answer that question? Is Leah Grove Road still a dump? That is my most important question tonight, apparently, from Mogul.
Well, you know where it is and where it leads into Marsh Farm, so make your own summary on that, Mogul.
I love it. Here's the table for ourselves. There it is. We're 6 at the moment with 29 points. We did think that 32 points would be a great tally to get to by the halfway point, which we could actually get further if we do beat Luton and beat Forest. We could be on 36 points, which will be a great start to the season for us with all the injuries we've had. I still think it's going to be a very tough game tomorrow, and I've said that to everyone who's been speaking to me today. So let's get some predictions. Philip, looking at the league table, we need a win to stay in touch with Spurs, don't we? Because I can't see Spurs not winning tomorrow at home against Everton.
Predictions for the next 2 games, or for
just the Newcastle Luton? Yeah. What's your score prediction?
Yeah. I think we'll win 3-0.
Get your prediction in as well.
Yeah, I think we'll win 3-0.
Really?
Yeah. So just going back to what Simon was saying in terms of expansive football and what Palace do, we don't play like that. We do play a high press football and intense football, but we're not as open, and we move very well as a unit. So if we're, which we will be, one thing you can guarantee is that we'll be structured and disciplined in our approach. And if Luton want to get physical, we're probably the most physical team in the Premier League. If that's what it's going to come down to, I haven't seen the team that's going to outmuscle us.
We can give as good as we take, can't we?
Yeah,
is probably the best way to put it. Yeah.
So the main thing is converting our chances, and so far I think we're probably in the top 4, top 5 of chance conversion rate. So we're pretty good at that. The only thing I'll add is I think in the back of his mind, how we'll remember what happened at Bournemouth for us. And that you're kind of meeting us at a time where we supposedly, in theory, are supposed to be a bit fatigued mentally and physically from recent exertions, but at the same time, we're trying to behave and trying to become an elite team, and you gotta you got to stand up and be counted. So there will be that in the back of Howe's mind in terms of what happened at Bournemouth, how to counteract that. And you're right, Simon. Bruno is going to be imperative for us when it comes to that. But I back us because most of the time we when these kind of questions have arose for us this season so far, how has answered them. So I do back us to win 3-0.
Like Simon said, you got to back yourself, haven't you? So Simon, are you backing yourself tomorrow?
Okay, so Luton have not lost by more than 3 goals since the second game of the season against Chelsea. We are a very tight unit. You know, we don't ship goals easily. The goals we do concede tend to be just wondrous goals you can't really do much about, or something really sloppy from turning off after we've scored ourselves. That's where our biggest flaws are. The optimist in me wants to say 1-1. But you know, you're Newcastle United. You've got far more at your disposal than us, even with your injuries. You know what I mean? Even with your injuries, you've still got the players there who should be able to convert some chances. By the way, Thomas Kaminski is by percentage the best shot stopper in the Premier League. He was up for the Premier League Player of the Month last month. He's a man in immense form. Don't let the clean sheet stats fool you. That man is one hell of a goalkeeper. He's kept us in games. Yeah. So I think the 1-1, I want to say, but I think it'll be 2-1 to Newcastle.
Can he play with his feet?
He's very good distributor. His distribution's got better. But no, you should win. I'd love a draw. I'd bite hands off for a draw. But, you know, we're in a different fight to you guys altogether. Yeah. We're in a mini league at the bottom whilst you guys are pushing on for European football. Our season won't be defined by the Newcastle game at home. Our games will be defined when Bournemouth come along and, you know, teams that are down there. We've already beat Everton. We went there and won. We beat Crystal Palace. You know, these are the points we need to start accruing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Do you know what I like what you said the most? We are Newcastle United. I like that.
You are in a different league, Rob. Let's be real.
We don't hear that. We don't hear that very often.
What is Newcastle United's record signing? Out of curiosity.
At the moment, it's probably Isak.
Isak, about 65, wasn't it?
65, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
just the 60 million more than our one, then.
Yeah. It's a massive difference, isn't it? But again, I mean, like in any FA Cup game, any Carabao Cup game, when the underdog comes and the play,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen, can't it? And it's
we're here to begin with.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Villa going to get a pen for a handball, mate. Right. So the goal should have been ruled out. When I saw another angle, the goalkeeper was kept a hold of, but the Sheffield United players moved his arm towards that ball there inside the box, and that is going to be a VAR decision for potential penalty, which will interest you, Simon, because it's for Villa, and he looks like he's moved his arm to move the ball forward. So
I think all of Luton are Villa tonight.
Yeah. Oh no, they've said to take your shoulder, so let's play on. Not low enough on the arm. So wow. I mean, does the arm handball from the sleeve these days downwards?
They make it up as they go along.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's whatever VAR says VAR does. But yeah, I'm going for a very tough 2-1 win. It is going to be tough with all our injuries. I want to answer someone's question in the chat very quickly before we go. It was this one from Stephen. It said, if Newcastle get invited to the Super League, will fans be in favour of it? Well, luckily for me, I did a poll with Toon Polls to find this out. I put, are you in favour of your club if asked to join the Super League? And I also asked all the other, big clubs. Yes, 6%, 5% unsure, 89% no. So that tells you everything you need to know, Stephen. And there was 1,597 votes put towards that. So that tells you as a high majority of fans I would hate the Super League. Philip, you would hate the Super League.
100%.
Simon, you would hate it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Philip.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say hate, but I was gonna say like I strongly dislike. I don't think what it stands for.
Yeah.
In terms of how I know things, what we got now isn't necessarily perfect, but I'm a big believer in meritocracy. I'm a believer like just what Simon was talking about. A club like ours, clubs like Luton rising up, You know, they're about to build an 18,000 stadium. Who's to say that in 5 years' time, that if they continue as they are, 5-10 years' time, and continue making good decisions as you should, that they shouldn't be competing for Champions League spots or anything else like that.
No.
And
So
I
it's a
think
very interesting thing you just said there, right? So our board 2020, led by Gary Sweet, they've had a plan in place for the last 10 years. They've had a long-term plan set. They said themselves at the start of this season, we are 4 years ahead of schedule, 3 or 4 years ahead of schedule, ending up in the Premier League now. We weren't planning on this to happen quite so soon, but it was being planned and it was showing in the Championship. We just survived on the last day in our first season there. Then we were mid-table. Then we were 6th in the playoffs. Then we won the playoffs from 3rd. There is a clear season-on-season improvement at Luton Town. If you see the graphs, every season for the last 11 years, we have improved our league position each time. That is the sustainability clubs would kill for, you know, and we're so lucky to have that here.
And the other thing is as well, the only thing with the Premier League is if you survive the first season, the second season's always the hardest. You get the second season syndrome. You look at Leeds, first time back, did well, then they got relegated. If you do stay up, I hope the guys have got a great plan for you to stay in there the second season as well, because I always find teams always struggle the most the second season.
We're really lucky to have a manager like Rob Edwards. Rob Edwards isn't going to get sacked even if we go down. That man is a part of our long-term vision for the club. He's a part of the long-term plan. He took over when Nathan Jones left us again and went to Southampton, and he came in at a perilous time, and he has put his stamp on this club. He has put his identity into this club, and he's bought into it. You could see it when he walks around the pitch, when Locks went down, tears in his eyes. It means that much to him, this club. And to have someone like that there, even if we go down, we've actually recruited in anticipation of this in some ways. Like if we go down with the majority of the squad we have, you can bang on us being back the season after. You could bank on it because we are now sustainable for our long-term future. That's massive for us, considering we were on the brink of extinction like 11 years ago. We almost ceased to be as a club. And a special shout out to Pelly Ruddock and Panzu as well, the only player in English football to come up from non-league to the Premier League with the same team. What an achievement.
Oh, wow.
That man is a great player and another great person, and a history maker.
Yeah, you sound more and more like Brighton to me. You're sustainable economically. You're playing good football. You've got a good manager, good leaders, and so that's why we're talking about Super League. I feel like that stuff should be rewarded. I feel like good decisions that Luton are making should be rewarded. And so people keep on saying, in terms of the people that are favouring it, I keep on hearing this from especially other kind of pundits and creators. Oh, but it's going to be really entertaining, and yes, it's going to be entertaining, but you know that's going to wear off at some point, and
it's going to become the norm, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
The thing. And then
there's other things that I think that's more important. People got to have. It's got to be a tangible that if you work hard for this, if you do make the decision that Luton are making, Newcastle are making, that you're going to be rewarded for it. Otherwise, if you just happen to be a big name, you know, then and you just walk through the door, then what's the point? So that's why I'm so dead set against it.
Yeah. The reason why I'm more dead set against it is I heard that obviously Real Madrid and Barcelona get a massive special bonus for getting other teams into it, and they get a bonus all the time. Which that's just all about money. It's all about money, isn't it?
It's a massive Ponzi scheme. I don't care how entertaining. I see Mr. Romano, is it Romano, that released, he said, no, they're going to have relegation in it. They're going to have all these things trying to reflect it more and more at the league. And
Sheffield United are in. Oh, those offside.
And
well, there's 3 leagues, isn't there? It's like Star, Gold, Silver, they're calling them, or something stupid like that, which is just absolutely pathetic in the first place.
No, but like I said, I strongly believe whether you're Luton or Newcastle or whatever, like so I think if Luton continue making great decisions for the next 5-10 years, there should be an opening for them to compete for Europe, to challenge for the league, and why not? And I feel like it's very snobbish to say, come on, Luton, how can they be? Of course, who's going to watch? I hate that. I really, really, really do.
Look at Wigan when they won the FA Cup. They had their little bit of glory in Europe, didn't they? And they fully deserved it because they won the FA Cup.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Man City came from nowhere, all of that kind of stuff. So why not?
Exactly.
Football will lose some of its lustre if the Super League or something of that kind is allowed to go ahead.
Yeah.
You lose your Luton Towns and those kinds of stories. You just lose them. You lose a part of your soul. And I know it's Real Madrid's president who's leading this crusade, right?
Yes, it is.
I didn't hear Real Madrid complaining 20 years ago when they were outspending the rest of the planet on football players. I didn't hear them complaining then, but all of a sudden now it's an issue because La Liga has declined.
Absolutely agree. I mean, they had the talent of all talent, didn't they? Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo, Figo, you name it. And then they went on to obviously get Ronaldo and the other Ronaldo, both Ronaldos. It's just, I mean, I don't like the fact that even the Premier League have put FFP in place. They're stopping Newcastle. That's what it feels like, as Philip's alluded to. It feels like, and some people in the chat, FFP was put in place to make the rich get richer and making other teams harder to progress as fast as they potentially could. I mean, Luton really, in theory, if they stay up next season, you then, Sheffield United nearly got an own goal. Luton should be allowed to spend what they feel is sustainable for their club. Like you said, they're literally debt-free. So that means unless you sell someone, though, because you're not getting in the money potentially that the big clubs are getting, you're going to take years and years and years to catch us unless you keep finding gems from lower leagues to bring into the Premier League. And
that's exactly how we got here to begin with. We our recruitment team and our analysis team have done such a phenomenal job in picking out players from clubs like, there's an ongoing joke that Barnsley are Luton North because of the amount of players that we pinch off them. We actually get on really well with Barnsley. But, that's where we got Colton Morris. Colton Morris came from Barnsley and fired us into the Premier League, And we have been, and Shade Ogbene, we identified him from Rotherham, and he's been an absolutely instrumental part of our team. Mads Anderson, Barnsley, that name again, come in and every game he's played, he's looked up to the level. So if we manage to stay up and we can keep identifying some of these players, we'll make a bit of money on some, but we've always been really good with reinvesting the little we get because we've been doing it for most of our history. Yeah. And like Brighton, they've been brilliant at it as well. And look where they are in the Premier League now with the scouts they've got, bringing in the likes of Caicedo for 4.5 million and selling them on for 100 million. That's what Luton needs, just that one lucky gem that can be sold on for that kind of amount. And then you can see the club potentially flourishing into a mid-table Premier League. And that's why a lot of, I think some of these bigger clubs or whatnot are afraid of. They've become lazy. They're not doing the work that got them in the first place, like Luton are doing, or Brighton are doing, searching for those gems. And even though they've got bigger scouts and networks, for some reason they're not using them. I know that obviously Arsenal bought Declan Rice for 100 million, and he's a great player. But there's other players. I'm not saying as necessarily as good as Declan Rice, but you can, like you said, you can find those gems. But for some reason, clubs don't want to do that, and because they don't want to do that, and you've got people like Luton, Brighton, ourselves, who are bringing up those players, they're afraid that they can see us coming and thinking, okay, we don't want to compete no more. Let's almost create something totally different that they can they won't have to compete with them anymore, and we can just keep our stuff. So the more I'm talking about, keep spending 100 million, and we can keep getting better and better, while the smaller clubs can't buy the better players when they get our money, and which means they can't compete with us. It's just it sounds like a horrible little cycle, doesn't it? But yeah, let's end it there because obviously we'll be on over an hour and I don't want to keep Simon any longer, and Philip as well. And I've got to take the kids into York tomorrow to do the Christmas market. So wish me luck, because good luck, mate. I'm going to need it. Trust me. But thank you so much, Simon, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Where can everyone find you on Twitter? What's it at? At SSE_LTFC, the display name I've got here. I'm always happy to talk to other fans. I've got I've followers from across football. I love to chat. I'm a nice guy, so come and say hi. 100%, definitely are. And thank you so much for doing this. And Philip, obviously Toon Tactics TV on YouTube. Yeah. When's your next video out? So I released one today for a little pre-match preview against Luton, and we'll just keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah. Go and watch that ASAP, guys, who we've been watching tonight. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button for this channel, the thumbs up, because that massively helps. And don't forget about our amazing sponsors, Diet Crow, amazing Newcastle t-shirts, 20% off.
And please watch, if you remember, watch the draw that I did, because people have won a prize. These are what the prizes are on screen: $40 for their shop, and there's obviously 2 Alan Shearer signed photographs and a lovely pin badge commemorating our Champions League group. So if you've won a prize, please contact me by email, Twitter, whatever it is. I need your address so I can send them out as quickly as possible. But thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow for the watch along. I'll be live from 2:45 for the 3 o'clock kickoff. Thanks, everyone.